All right, we are live officially right this
Yay,
moment.
we're back. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but iPhone
These
sucks.
things happen. Yeah, well, we gotta do it on the iPhone for the time being.
iPhones are the worst.
They are right now. Where we were actually talking about, I don't even remember. It was some anime.
Yeah.
We interrupted Chris a bunch of times.
He got real crotchety about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, he's really mad at us for this. But,
I've decided to form my own show. It's going to be called One Alive. And
yeah. All right.
all anime all the time.
He's gonna be talking to himself in his closet. Ooh, I forgot about my group page.
Yes. Go ahead and bust that open. We got all sorts of weird drinks.
Yeah, I'm going to open up one of these drinks that I got from Akiba Underground. It's called Polka Milk Coffee. It's real brewed from coffee beans. So
Alright.
Well, I would hope so.
I'm not even a huge fan of coffee either. I'm not a big coffee guy, but I definitely want to.
Does it say it's sweetened or is it? Well, I guess you're about to find out.
Projectile.
All over the table.
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah?
I think it's kind of like almost what do you call that? Like a
Starbucksy?
French vanilla.
Okay.
Yeah, it's smooth. You don't really taste a lot of the
see, I'm
coffee.
an energy drink drinker myself, so.
No, that's pretty much what it tastes like. Would you like some, sir?
See, we all have to do it because we're gonna make Martin drink some stuff.
And eat
Okay,
some stuff.
smells pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know that there's much difference in this than anything else.
No, it
just seems like a normal thing.
Yeah.
I've had coconut water that's coffee flavored and it tastes.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I like coffee. That's awesome. I like that.
That's good. That's
Polka
good
milk
shiz.
coffee.
Way to go, Paka. I think it's Paka.
Well,
Polka.
no, but now speaking of, we have
Pocky.
Pocky.
Yes.
and this is actually looks like milk and green tea. I can only guess because it's got like little leaves on it.
Yeah, there's some.
Anybody knows? Maybe you could tell us which Pocky this is. We'd really like to know. But
I'd really like to know.
all right, what else do we got here?
Let's see.
Sangria, we got that weird thing.
There's this thing. It's grape flavored, I believe. I don't know.
Green grape. See, that's actually weird.
Sangria melon cream soda.
It's a melon on the jar. Man, so I can only imagine that this place has like an insane amount of stuff.
They had
Where you walk in, it's just like
they had
food.
a decent amount of snacks and stuff like that. The manga selection was pretty light. I think they kind of kept it to popular stuff. Same thing with the anime. It was more like name.
This is Sangria melon cream soda.
Melon cream soda.
Man, it's very flavorless, honestly.
No, I like that.
Okay.
Oh, I like that a lot. Alright, so there's a thing in Japan. It's made by a Coca-Cola company. It's called Vegeta Beta. The only time I can get it is going back to Epcot.
It's pretty good.
They have a place called Station Cool, and they have all these weird things across the board that you can get all over the world that are Coca-Cola products. And one of them tastes pretty much identical to this. So
You know what?
I really want more of this.
You know what that
Stop
tastes
there.
like to me? One of those
That's
like
awesome.
melon flavored Jelly Bellies.
That's really close. So that's a big thumbs up on that one. The coffee too. All right, the next thing we got is there's no sticker on this one. I think it's just orange juice.
Maybe.
Right, I mean, it just has an orange on it. I mean, maybe tangerine, but it says sangria. I don't know if that is maybe that's
I
the
think
word
Sangria is
for what.
the brand.
Yeah.
Because it says it on the
Yeah, it
other
says
one
it
too,
on
right?
the other one too. Or it's the word for soda, maybe? Maybe it's like their soda thing?
I don't know.
No, I'm sure that's the brand.
There's so many bubbles in that. I just took a sip and the whole thing just like exploded in bubbles in my mouth. That's really good though. I like that a lot.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's good. Oh, these drinks are really awesome. I gotta say, I'm pretty excited for drinking the rest of that, actually. I'm gonna find out it's another energy drink and I'll have had like 8 energy drinks. In
Then
this
your
one.
heart will just explode
It's
out
just
of your chest.
all over the computer.
This one to me kind of tastes like an Orangina, you know.
Yes.
Very close to Orangina, but yeah, lots of bubbles on that one for me. Kind of like filled my whole mouth up. Just like. All right, so what else do we have here? I think we had a couple more things. Do we have anything else left to open?
We do. There's
We have
Rocket
one
League
right here.
bar.
Let's see though. Let's. I think we have a couple more things we could open. We'll grab one of these. And we open that one. I was curious to save that. Let's open up one of these. Got a couple.
Sweet.
One for you.
Thank you.
Open up 2. I'll open up one of those. We got a Dory.
Oh, I'm sorry, Martin. You're not old enough to open this.
0 to 3 sad onions.
Alright, guys. So actually what I'm opening right now is another of the Funko Finding Dory pieces. And then we also have these really cool Mattel Teen Titan Go minifigures.
Yeah, I snagged these at my local GameStop. They were on clearance for a couple bucks, so yeah, it looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely check out your...
on one, you giant fat butt.
Definitely open up, go to all your GameStops and really see what's up because we found a lot of great deals. That's some pretty cool stuff. Alright. Oh, so this was another one. Definitely a reseal. Didn't have the interlocked things there, so... And everyone said online when you order online, like you're gonna get commons. There's no way you're gonna get one, and of course I get the 1 in 6, which is Dory, which I'm fine with. I like the Dory, but
it looks weird. I do not like the way that looks at all.
which one is it? Yeah, it's the 1 in 6. It's the common, but I didn't order like 10 of these things, so I think I'm okay. Dude, that is so cool.
Pretty badass.
And and does it have the number on the bottom?
Yep.
Okay. So, and it's the style where if you pull it back, it like zooms forward.
It zooms forward. So, the friction racer. So, it's very cool. Very cool. Now, let's open up this Teen Titans Go.
We got another. Oh, there it is. We'll get them on. We'll get them spinning. All right. So,
it comes in pieces.
If anybody here likes what we're doing, wants to see more openings. Definitely leave some information.
Yeah, let us know how you feel, what you think, what have you. Like, share, subscribe. 5 Alive VP on the Twitter, Instagrams, and the Facebooks.
Also, hashtag 5 Alive Live. It's our base hashtag for this.
Hashtag Robin in Pieces.
I did get a Jinx. So,
oh, awesome. Looks really good. I like these things. It was pretty cool for like $2.
I don't like the way that one looks. I like the way this Robin looks though. He's pretty cool looking.
Oh, I got one. Let's see. What do we get here? Oh. Yeah,
no, I know.
They're in pieces. You can't open them like a damn maniac.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know who I got.
Yeah.
I sure did.
That is awesome. So, that's what we were talking about before we went off line. I was explaining to Krissa who Bumblebee is. So Bumblebee was created in the late 70s for Teen Titans. She is basically the Wasp, but she's come back into prominence because, as I said, DC does not have a lot of diverse characters. So they're starting to push more and more toward to the forefront. Much like Cyborg.
So
which is why Cyborg is part of the Justice League.
Got Cyborg, and that's actually cool. I want to put him on the spinner actually. Well,
but that's it's honestly a really really good thing because these lesser known characters get more of the spotlight. That's why Luke Cage, recently. Well,
the Jeff Johns effect.
Well, that and Brian Michael Bendis loves Luke Cage, so that's why he got the push. Why Black Lightning is getting his own WB show. Some good stuff.
Nice.
So,
Now, I have a question for you, Martin.
Yes, sir.
You and Bobby, since you guys are comic book guys. How do you feel?
I have seen vagina. Oh, I'm sorry.
Twice?
Only twice. I guess
I will eat my pocky
2 times.
So
2 times is enough, right?
That's it. We produce children. Right?
There you go.
Exactly. I've got a legacy. Yeah, I got a legacy. That's all that matters.
You're a step ahead of me, I guess. I don't know if I want any more of me running around the world. But anyway, I do have a serious question for you guys since you're comic book fans. How do you feel about Marvel reworking established characters, like making Thor a woman, and making like a new Spider-Man character, with a new alternate identity and stuff like that, versus introducing new characters?
So
I wanted to get your opinion on that because it seems like an interesting topic.
So it is something that has happened. DC had to do very much the same thing. They just took a different route. What Marvel did was come up with these different iterations of characters. So there are now 2 Thors, there are 2 Miss Marvels, there's 2 Caps, there's 2 Spider-Men. as far as DC is concerned, what DC did was just cancel the line and restart it and start from scratch, which is another way that you can do that. So, it's really of two minds. Now the DC version seems to be working because they're outselling Marvel for the first time in a very, very long time. I've always been more of a Marvel fan, but that's just me.
Well, like, how do you feel about like the Miles Morales Spider-Man versus Peter Parker and that kind of deal?
See, I like Miles. I have no problem with Miles. I like the reason it came about, which was, they wanted to bring more life to the Ultimate Universe. I haven't read a lot
of a bunch of racist fanboys.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. That's also a great thing. Because it only makes sense that a young kid from New York who's going to get powers is going to be a kid of color. It's just, that only makes sense.
It's a pretty good shot.
There are everyone just screams, "Oh, it's all about diversity." It's like, yeah, because it is a diverse world, and these people, if you're a young black kid, you want to see someone who looks like you. It's the same thing with, Kamala Khan being Miss Marvel. If you're a young Muslim kid and you love comic books, you want to see a representation of you.
Yeah.
It only makes sense. It's the same thing that's happening in wrestling with women's wrestling. If you're a little girl and you like wrestling, but all of the women wrestlers are basically treated like sexual objects, what's that say to you?
Yeah.
Everyone screams political correctness, but it isn't political correctness. It is the way of the world. So I have no issues with it personally. That's me.
Yeah, see, I'm not a huge fan of comic books in general, in terms of actually, like, buying the comics. I do like watching the movies. I did watch a lot of the 90s, animated series when those were popular. I mean, I loved Spider-Man and the X-Men cartoons on Fox, Saturday mornings. That was my jam,
Yeah.
So for me personally, dude, make as many Spider-Mans or Spider-Men, whatever you want to call it, as you want.
Did.
Yeah, dude, I love, Scarlet Spider. Give me Scarlet Spider. Give me Iron Spider. Give me, Spider-Man 2099. Yeah, dude, I am all for that.
2099
I like it.
my shit.
Yeah, it gets 2099 gets shit on pretty hard, but I really enjoy it.
That first run that Peter David did, I remember when the 2099 books were, this is 100% dating me. I remember when they were announced. I put them on my pull list at my local comic book store because I was 12 years old and I had a pull list. And
no cable, but you had a pull list.
I did have a pull list. And I was super all about it. I got them all. I loved Peter David's first run. It was an awesome idea behind it. And it was a really, really good run on the book. It was honestly the only of those first run of 2099 books that was worthwhile. The rest of them were crap.
Yeah, the rest were pretty bad. The Punisher one was kind of bad.
Punisher one was terrible. The Ravage, the one written by Stan Lee, was awful.
Was it? Yeah,
Doom 2099 wasn't any good either until Ellis took it over. But we're not going to talk about that.
Because my phone is going to die again. We don't have 12 hours to talk about Warren Ellis again.
I was a huge fan of the Spider-Man Noir one, which was created for the Shattered Dimensions video game.
It was not actually.
Oh, I thought
it was created as part of a noir a noir comic book event, and then Shattered Dimensions came along and was like, that's.
Yeah, I thought they made it for the game, and then it was so popular. Like, let's make a line for it.
Little known thing, but it is super well done.
Dude, I loved the Vulture in the Noir universe, and the Green Goblin as the like the sideshow, freak show like ringleader was amazing.
Yep.
So give me more Spider-Mans or Spider-Man, whatever you want to call it. I'll get into that.
I'll use this as a good way to segue. One of my favorite Spider-Mans was actually, I guess it would be Canon Universe, Standard Universe.
616.
Is that what it's being called officially? Yep. 616?
Yep.
Okay, so Universe 616, one of my favorite storylines, and I let you borrow these trades, was the Tangled Web series.
Yeah.
Where you see the further reaching arm of Spider-Man and what happens after to these people that he stops a crime. And on the face, you go, yay, Spider-Man stopped a crime.
Mm-hmm.
But really, there's a chain of events that have now been set in place afterwards. So Tangled Web is exactly that. It's the tangled web that we weave. And there's some really amazing issues. One of them being after he stops a Kingpin robbery, the leader of the job has to go pay the price. Yeah, Spider-Man stopped it, and everyone's happy that the money is safe, but now this guy really has to go die, and he knows that it's coming, so he's putting together his final things, talk to this person, telling his wife, he's kissing his kids, and you really see, what's about to happen to this guy.
Yeah.
That was a really amazing one, but to segue, there's an issue where they talk about what happened to Crusher Hogan. And
I don't know who that is.
Crusher Hogan was who Peter Parker had wrestled to get the money.
Okay.
So that money was it was fronted to Crusher Hogan to save his wrestling promotion. They didn't think a kid on the first night was going to come jump in and take the money. So it's the further effects of, well, Crusher Hogan doesn't have the money now. What happens to him? Yeah, we have Spider-Man, but someone who's brutally affected by this. And it was actually co-written by Raven.
Exactly.
It was Raven and Brian Azzarello, I believe.
Yep.
So that brings us to the
Wrestling.
WWF.
So,
or as my uncle calls it, I don't watch porn anymore.
So, it was a weird week in wrestling.
It was an odd one. Yeah, stuff's all over the place, man.
Shows were up and down. NXT, the main event was terrible. The first match was amazing.
Yeah, Martin immediately called me. He's like, I don't care what you do for the rest of the week, you have to.
The first
watch
match
NXT right
the first match for NXT was Aleister Black versus Bobby Fish, and Aleister Black is a Dutch man who
Dutchman. That's how he actually says it.
There's a guy from Holland, and
I got hash brownies.
Yes,
for
exactly.
You.
he hands out hash brownies to the audience, and everything goes great. So he's doing like kind of a black magic type, dark gimmick.
Okay.
And he does this amazing move where he runs and jumps onto the second rope, does a backflip in the air, and then lands in the Indian seated position. It's insanity.
Wow.
He fought Bobby Fish, who just came into NXT from ROH, who also is, they're both known as strikers. And it was such a good match.
I don't know what a striker is.
Everything's
a
gonna be more stand up.
Yeah, a fighter who depends more on striking instead of, suplexing. And stuff
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
not as many moves, not submissions, not as much top rope stuff, not as much.
Yeah.
So boring.
The one thing actually that bothers me, not at all.
Kidding.
One thing that actually bothers me about Aleister Black is that his t-shirt is white.
Yes.
It's like, you son of a bitch. You have such an awesome t-shirt and I don't want it because it's white.
Nice.
I will be shitbag filthy within 5 minutes of wearing a white shirt. I have a 19-month-old. My clothes don't stand a chance. Much like the Pez of Rocket Raccoon's neck. I went a little nuts on the Pez early on.
You put Groot all the way over there, so you can't.
What's funny is the Groot is kind of made for pezzing because the head is like scooped. So you've got a really good thumb spot. So I was really like,
Rocket's not bad. You put it right in between the ears.
Yeah.
Bam.
I was lazy. I didn't put any Pez in my Iron Man. So.
Like a true communist, he's saving it for everyone.
It's true.
Pez is a Connecticut based company.
Orange, Connecticut.
Yep.
So, as I digest this Pez in my mouth,
Yeah.
horribly unprofessional what we're doing right now.
Horrendously so.
Wait, let me just. Okay, now we're good.
Yeah, you gotta slurp on that can.
Exactly.
Pinky out like Becky and
yes,
Becky
breaking
Shaw.
up.
There you go.
So Becky.
Wait, because we wanted to save that.
Okay, yeah.
So, one of the thing that hurt me this week, one of my favorite shows got canceled. Talking Smack is done.
Smack got canceled. They said people weren't watching it.
Now rumors are saying that Vince just fucking hated the show.
Well, and he very well could have, because it was basically guys who weren't getting the rub on the main shows going into business for themselves and getting themselves over.
Yeah, what are you doing back there?
Trying to get comfortable. Going into business for themselves and getting themselves over, which we all know Vince hates. It was amazing. It made me care about The Miz again. It made me care about the Usos again.
The Miz Daniel Bryan stuff that came out of that was phenomenal.
It made me care
Same
about
with Usos, but Kevin Owens is king.
Owens was king on there. Zayn was always great on there. Dean was always great on there. Like, there was... It made me care about Eric Rowan. Like,
absolutely. Even Baron Corbin was on there.
Exactly.
Really,
was awesome.
He was coming on. And apparently we're finding out that on one of the things about canceling a show is you want to tell the host.
Yeah. They didn't let Renee Young know at all. Didn't let Daniel Bryan know at all. That was the other thing. Bryan, you can... the thing I loved about Talking Smack is it very clearly detailed how little fucks Daniel Bryan gives.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
He's basically daring the company to fire him at this point.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Which goes back to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dude's going to wrestle.
Yeah.
We are going to see Daniel Bryan in the ring again. Oh, no.
He actually said the line, hey, remember when SmackDown was super into fisting?
He said that giant waffle fucking stuff.
Yeah. So anyways, so Talking Smack got canceled, which is disappointing to say the least, because it was a very, very well done show, and yet 205 Live still exists. I love 205 Live, but no one watches it. So you can't, I don't think you can give the defense, oh, no one's watching Talking Smack when you allow 205 Live to exist.
Yeah, considering one of their roster guys left, right?
Yeah, just Austin Aries just recently took
Austin
off.
Aries
He didn't want to be a part of it.
Scrolling through Squared Circle right now, and I just came across a really good piece of interview with the New Day.
Mm-hmm.
And WWE, we want this.
Yes.
It's from, I hate this, Sportskeeda. I don't like that name, Sportskeeda, Sportsketa. Anyway.
I have no idea.
The question to the New Day was, will either of you eye singles titles in the near future?
And
the response from Big E.
Yeah, before you even say it, can I guess what the response is?
No, because it's even better. Because you're probably right, and I don't want to ruin it.
Go ahead.
So the response from Big E says, well, you never know. Kofi responds, you never know. The thing about singles titles is when one of us is champion, we are all champion. So it's in the cards. There's a lot of championship titles out there that need to be won, and we like winning. So we'll see. Like I always say, you never know what's going to happen. Big E comes in with, it's true, and I think it would be fresh. I think to have a trio Freebird, a singles title, would be cool. That's something we've talked about many times, and we're ready to shake things up. I want this to happen so bad.
It's not going to happen, but it would be amazing. If they could Freebird the
IC title, that's exactly
take it away from Miz, give it to Kofi, let Kofi win it.
That would be amazing.
And then let them Freebird it.
Well, hold on. Let's Xavier Woods win it. And then all three of them will have won the IC title at one time or another, and then they can say, we're all champions.
Yeah.
Why can't we all be the champion?
Yeah, exactly.
And because right now, that's the one that he hasn't had.
Exactly.
Well, next to the others. But now, actually, one that would be cool would be the U.S. title. Because working the open challenge with a three-man Freebird holding one belt.
Would be amazing.
The amount of story we could get out of that where somebody challenges at the last minute to like a back room brawl or whatever against Xavier Woods, they get the pin, but they don't get the win because Kofi was wearing the belt at the time, not Xavier Woods, so you didn't win anything. And I think that they could really work that. It would be really a cool idea.
It won't happen.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Something Roman Reigns would be like, I think I'm gonna Freebird all of the titles for myself. Him and the Usos. And, I was talking to Rikishi.
Yeah.
Alright.
So
he was saying.
If you've been watching SmackDown lately, you've noticed Becky and Charlotte have been doing a tag team type thing. They've been hanging out together.
Very excited for
this. It's great.
Charlotte, this great. She does it again.
GR8, baby.
Great.
Charlotte was at the Edge and Christian podcast talking about how she and Becky want to be the new Edge and Christian, which is awesome.
I'm perfectly okay with this. If they come out and do a 5-second pose, I might just fall over dead.
So they've been doing this thing where they stir up the pot and then they sit back and sip the tea. Now they have a new tag team name.
Oh, it's so good. Before we get to this, let's say at 5AliveVP, hashtag 5AliveLive. Also, like, share, subscribe, leave any comments down in the comments, or actually I guess they would probably be over to this side of things. Tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and we will debate you and tell you you're wrong and you're a stupid idiot.
Well, I already know one thing you're doing wrong.
What's that?
interrupting me during anime.
Oh Jesus, this again.
Things no one will ever say ever.
All right, so Martin.
The name is Tea Generation X because they keep sipping tea. It's Becky loves puns.
Excellent.
It is the best. And they say, if you don't like that, we've got 2 words for you.
Sip it!
Sip it! It's just the
That's
best.
so amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I can't wait to see him live, and I hope that it becomes a shirt. I really, even if like WrestlingShirts.com makes it,
Yeah.
and it's just like a rando.
Yeah, they could put like a
Really
little like
awesome.
teacup in the center with 2 spoons
Yeah.
crossing.
Oh,
yeah,
the green spoons
yeah,
over the thing.
Yeah. There you
Oh
go.
yeah. So like we were saying, I think that what you'd have to do is like hold. I don't have a mug here. I don't want to accidentally break your rocket, but you would kind of do like a. You're holding the cup with the pinkies up, but the pinkies would be in
Yeah.
the
Yeah, there you go.
Sip it.
So, the other thing is they had the G1 press conference for the G1 tournament in New Japan. I don't watch a lot of New Japan, but I love me some Kenny Omega. That's a huge part of it. But I love me some Kenny Omega. And you need to watch a press conference if only for his reactions to everyone.
He's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a super fan of wrestling, but I have seen some of his matches where he like wrestles the little girl and stuff like that.
When he wrestles a broom, when he wrestles a little girl, when he wrestles a wrestling dummy, and he puts on the best match of the year.
Those are pretty.
That's what I'm talking about.
When he did that, Kota Ibushi did that, and then they were a tag team. Now they're going to face each other, and Kenny Omega has just been talking smack to him constantly.
They should do a tag match where it's like him, Kenny Omega, and a broom versus this guy and like
the wrestling
yeah, they have
to
they gotta tag the broom in.
Have you seen him, Kenny Omega, wrestle a little girl?
Yes, I've seen
so
that
good.
one.
Dude, he insecures that little girl.
Yeah,
Yep.
Jacks her up.
Yep, right in the back of the head. She deserved it.
What was it?
She's
Well,
talking,
that little
talking
girl,
junk.
turns out that little girl's like a 9-year-old. She's like a black belt and this, that, and the other thing.
Okay.
Does like rando stunt.
Turns out that 9-year-old little girl.
She knows it, yeah.
Turns out that 9-year-old little girl's in the Yakuza.
Yeah.
She takes the shirt off and she's all dragging tattoos.
Yeah.
She's missing the tip of her pinky.
I've got the perfect match. It's Kenny Omega and the Broom versus his old tag team partner. I don't know his name.
Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, there you go.
Ibushi.
With the horse from the SmackDown or the Raw segment that they did last week there with the with what Fandango.
Yeah.
Brazango.
Yeah, Brazango. There you go. Yeah, he had the horse.
Yep.
So there you go. The horse and him versus the Broom and Kenny Omega. That'd be fantastic.
I'm dead serious. I half forgot about that moment for a few minutes, and you just said it, and it brought it all.
Yeah, there you go.
That was one of the funniest bits with the horse. I'm telling you, you got to watch the one with the janitor where Dango just gets like closer and closer until he's standing
I'll check it
right
out, yeah.
over this dude's shoulder.
Nice.
But SmackDown was really weird. Like, you had AJ come out, you had him do the U.S. Open Challenge again, and Cena comes out, and you're gonna get some more Cena AJ. That's great.
I'm good with
but
that.
Then you have, like, it's very obvious that the Universal title, or whatever the heck it's called, the championship is not the main championship. It's the U.S. Championship is the main championship now.
Pretty much, yeah.
You had your champion come out, squash Ty Dillinger, which it's like the week before you give him a rub.
Yep.
And then you have your champion come out, squash him, and then do the same promo that he's done 2 months straight.
It's
every
every
week.
time. I'm brown, and you're mad at the fact that I'm brown, and that's your promo. I get that that's what you're trying to put over, but at one point it's insulting.
Right, and then
you now need to, I don't know.
And then that leads
to
Randy Orton. Yeah, and that leads Randy Orton go, no, it's everyone hates you because you're a jerk. And it's just.
I mean, they're kind of doing the same thing with Jinder Mahal too,
That's
right?
what I'm
That's
saying.
what we're
yeah.
talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
He's just only playing the brown card,
Yes.
and it's really kind of
really
just
not
getting old.
even. He's Canadian.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. Yeah. That
So,
doesn't really matter apparently though.
It does not, and the true shame of it is, Jinder Mahal is actually a really funny guy.
Yeah.
He is. Well, we were watching the botch.
Yeah, the outtakes. Yeah.
The outtakes where they thought that 3MB thought that they were being recorded.
Yeah.
So Hornswoggle says El Toro, and Heath Slater's like, it's El Torito, man. He's like, it's all right, just cut it. We're gonna do it again, and they just kind of do that blah 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 blah, blah to get it up. and Jinder Mahal is going, "How now, Brian Kyle?" And this is your champion.
Yeah.
And it was one of the funniest bits, and then they bring him back in this roided out his acne's got acne. And it's really rough, man.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Randy Orton is smashing Bollywood boys left and right.
Oh my god.
Fuck, man.
But we were talking about this earlier too. You know, going back to the U.S. the U.S. Championship kind of being the main title for the show.
It really is.
Well, we were talking about how, you know, John Cena, for all that he's done for the company and everything like that, and you know, was getting kind of boring because it was just, you know, he's just doing these power moves and stuff like that. But now working with AJ, he's really stepped up his game, and you know,
unbelievably
these
so.
moves to his
It was
repertoire.
even before he was working with AJ. When he started doing the U.S. Open Challenge, he started busting out new stuff like that springboard stunner. He's done that jump before he did it with Kevin Owens, the sunset flip powerbomb. So he or whatever, he jumps on the
it's this, I can't remember what it's called. It's the one where he goes for what would be a sunset flip, but because he holds on longer and doesn't kind of bring his shoulders down and around fast enough, it turns more into like a flip over power bomb.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty amazing. It's really kind of an old school move. I remember seeing AJ do it back in TNA and damn near shitting my pants because we had never seen anything like that.
Oh, that's because of your diarrhea, though.
That and my monstrous diarrhea.
But no, we're just saying, you know, that you know, title has given him the opportunity to try new things, you know, do new moves and everything like that, and kind of expand his you know, his wheelhouse and everything like that. Which I told you guys this earlier too. I'm not a big fan of John Cena the wrestler, but John Cena the person,
the human being is pretty amazing.
he's an awesome dude. I love his interviews with like Conan. I thought he was great in the train wreck and everything like that. He was an awesome character, and you know,
we talk about that character every time we get together. I don't think it ever fails.
He's hilarious, you know, just the things that he says and everything like that.
He was really good in that Sisters. Was it Sisters?
I don't know.
The movie with
with Amy Poehler.
Amy
I
Poehler and
didn't
Tina
see
Fey.
that
He was
one.
really good in that. He plays the drug dealer in that.
No, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
and he was really hilarious. He's that's the thing. I've never had a problem with John Cena the person. I've always had a problem with John Cena while Cena wins.
Well, what about now?
I have no problem. I'm happy when he shows up because I know I'm going to get some quality matches,
find a good match.
and it's going to shine light on people I enjoy. So Sammy will get the rub, or Kevin or KO will get the rub, or AJ will get the rub. Not that AJ needs it, but so yeah, I don't know how I feel about this upcoming Battleground. I know I don't care about Jinder versus.
No, not at all. It's
Randy.
really it's a nothing main event. I don't care about it. I care about everything but. And actually,
well, but what about, you're not a big fan of Rusev either, so that Rusev Cena match has got to be.
But I think because Cena is so good, it might make a Rusev match make me not want to fall asleep.
There you go.
But
I just hope Rusev. I hope Rusev comes out as Big Bartholomew. It talks about his chickens.
They all just came out as their Southpaw
Dude,
characters.
that'd be awesome. They should do like a WWE Southpaw pay-per-view. Dude.
The Lethal Leap Year. In our next
Leap
Leap Year, that would be pretty amazing to actually have Lethal Leap Year.
Yeah.
And have Chet I want to see a double eye patch come down in his sweet blue tights.
That's right. I don't care if you got a new green jacket.
That Susan bought you because I gave Susan something.
14 minutes later, he lost his other eye.
Oh, actually, I'm actually looking at the feed right here. You had asked earlier if it's Kamen Rider on
yes,
my
yeah.
computer.
Yeah.
It's actually not. It's Knights of the Slice.
Okay.
Knights of the Slice is a figure that we've actually done a review of before. That was made by one of my friends.
That was pre-Kriza times.
In the pre-Kriza days.
Yeah.
This is a toy that came from being a kid and wanting a specific kind of toy, and he just never really let it go. developed it over like 30 years.
Wow.
And then finally started to get him pumped out and has a huge following for it.
Nice. No, yeah, he looks
these
very.
stickers are actually, what's cool about them is you can draw on them. They take permanent marker real well.
Oh, okay.
So we usually just color on these things any crazy nights because one thing about Knights of the Slice and the Glyos platform is that it's all about customization.
Okay.
So definitely look up Knights of the Slice out on the internets, and same with Glyos. Just goddamn deliciously awesome toys.
Yeah. It does look very Kamen Rider-esque, especially his helmet or head, head.
Yeah, it definitely has that feel to it.
Well, I don't know, is that a helmet or is that a space?
It's a helmet.
Oh, okay.
It's a helmet. So,
he could be like a mutant bug thing, with, I don't know.
Like Kamen Rider is?
No, because
that
Kamen
would
Rider
be...
he's
I don't know any.
Really? You didn't watch any Kamen Rider? I know Tony was like super...
Again, that's the thing. Like, I missed that boat. I was too old when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came out. And I was like,
no. So you're talking Masked Rider. And Masked Rider sucked.
I don't
It's
care.
all about Kamen Rider.
But I got into Kamen Rider
Kamen? You're a Kamen guy? I'm a Kamen guy.
I say Kamen. I got into Kamen Rider.
We all have to be idiots.
A few years ago, I was probably 30-ish. We were playing Pathfinder. I just figured you would have gotten into it. Because
Even if he was like, yeah, come on over and watch this, I'd be like, I'm all set.
Anytime, it's actually worked out for me. I started watching Sentai a while back, and it comes on the Superhero Time platform. So you get an episode of Rider, you get an episode of Sentai. And they change year by year. It changes over. I think it's in January, February.
Yep.
You get 50 episodes, and then in the 2 weeks that it's not on, you get a crossover movie of usually the Rider and the Sentai, and then you also get a usually a crossover movie of the next Sentai and the last Sentai to kind of bridge the two teams.
I can't remember which Kamen Rider my friend got me into.
Was it Decade? Because Decade is my favorite.
It's the one where he's in high school and he's fighting all like these kind of like monsters that are based off of star signs. So like there's like a Sagittarius type thing and that kind of deal. But the one I liked the most was Kamen Rider Black, which is the one that took place in like the 80s, and that one has a very Final Fantasy VII
Zodiac?
feel to it. Maybe that sounds familiar.
It would make sense.
Yeah. But Kamen Rider Black is my favorite. That one has.
That's Fours.
Yes.
Fours.
Yes.
Some of the coolest figures come from that show, actually, and it's the SH Figure Arts figures. And see, they made these different lines of it. So there's the Figure Arts, which is kind of the higher end. The better articulation, more smooth, more detailed. Then there's the SIC, the sick versions. And they made them, some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. The 3 3/4 Decade that I have comes with 4 different sets of hands, 2 different heads, 2 different guns, like all kinds of extra pieces, and it's that G.I. Joe scale.
Nice.
Just such awesome toys.
I wish I'm surprised I haven't thought of this before, but they haven't like really made any Kamen Rider pops or anything like that. That'd be awesome to see.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that.
I'd be down
for that.
Mostly
that's a Japanese license.
True.
Really
so I don't know if Funko can get a hold of that, but they might be able to. But yeah, I was a fan of the Kamen Rider shows. A few of the ones that I watched. Like I said, Black was really cool. It had that kind of post anti-utopian type feel to it. This corporation was kind of like controlling Japan and making these kind of like backdoor deals.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it was like I said, very Final Fantasy VII-esque. Even his outfit, he had like kind of like this like ripped up jean jacket that like he wore, like it was kind of like a leather jacket type.
And this is Black?
Yes.
That you're talking about?
Yes.
I definitely have to check.
Forza was cool too because it had like the little like pods, so he would like click the pod or whatever, and then it would like appear, and then he would transform, or his bike would show up or whatever.
I can't have my
so
you are besmirching my good name.
Going to talk about the one I was talking about, Decade. It was actually kind of weird because it was like an avant-garde version of Kamen Rider.
Weird.
There would be these really weird like David Fincher episodes of the show. It was really kind of odd.
There were some weird Kamen Riders because I remember there was one too where it like it had to do with trains. That was another one.
Totally a weird one.
Yeah.
So, but now Kamen Rider Decade. One of the things that I liked the absolute most about this was that it ran next to Samurai Sentai Shinkenger.
Okay.
I can, if I ever had to say watch a Sentai series, it is Shinkenger. Shinkenger is the samurai-based one. They use their these dials that dial them into their spirit animals and all this.
Yeah. I think I've seen a few episodes of that too.
It's great because the Gold Ranger, always the sixth Ranger that comes in, is a sushi cart guy.
Nice.
So he's just like this goofy sushi cart guy who's so into the Rangers. And what he ends up doing is he figures out how to kind of hack the Morpher and make his own Morpher.
Oh, nice.
And then by using that, he was able to create these little Zords, the legendary monsters, and then program those to his Morpher. So he was creating his own stuff.
Yeah.
He didn't actually need. He accidentally tapped into it, and you find out more about how he did and everything, obviously within the show. But one of the coolest and funniest, like, because it wasn't afraid to make fun of itself, and it was very Japanese.
Nice.
It was.
Let us know if you hate the Japanese.
Well, me and Chris absolutely love it. You keep bringing me Sentai every year, and I will be there.
I mean, I get
time.
ramen noodles, shipped to my house in a crate. So yeah, you're barking up the wrong tree with that one. Speaking of that too, I know we
barking up trees.
No, about Japanese, noodles and stuff like that. We were eating some snacks and stuff like that. I wanted to let the viewers and you guys know. I did subscribe to Japan Crate today, so we're gonna get some more candy, some drinks. Yeah,
they get a little weird in the Japan Crate.
I'm
so
looking
we might
forward
get some
to
like shrimp candy or something.
I'm not looking for it.
Oh, this is gonna be crazy. We're gonna watch. We're just gonna have a bucket for Martin.
Yeah,
it's
gonna be bad.
I'm speaking of, we're talking about.
Oh, we got one more
I'm
thing.
gonna bust open some of these. This is another thing that I got at Akiba Underground. It's a green tea pastry roll. So let's bust this open and give it a try. I've been eyeing this bad boy since
it's been sitting behind me.
I
Everyone's
know.
like, "Why is Chris staring behind the toy so much?" We actually did come up with a lot of stuff for a lot of packages or a lot of toys. I'm sorry, and a lot of food. So we actually have a ton of stuff extra. So next week we're gonna be eating some more crazy Japanese stuff, opening some more figures. And like I was saying, when we get to that 100 subscriber mark, we're going to send out a package. And who knows, you might get a tea biscuit with a bite taken out of it.
Almost certainly you're getting a tea biscuit with a bite taken out of it.
This is pretty fresh, too. Like, you can feel
I'm
how
surprised.
spongy it is. Yeah, with it being sealed like this, yeah.
That's pretty good.
I like it. Now we know. See,
there's a flavor in here I can't put my finger on.
Butts.
No, it's almost like creamy, like a Boston cream donut. But it doesn't
creamy
have...
butts.
So whatever that vanilla is very
now
good.
we know, again, going back to those anime episodes, when the kids are rushing to get to lunch and they're grabbing, this is what they're getting. Yeah, this is what they're looking for when they're trying to grab breads and stuff like that. Yeah.
We're gonna find out that there's just opium. This is just opium biscuits. We're like, this is the hashtag opium, hashtag puking. Well, speaking of opium, I was gonna speaking of opium.
Hashtag Afghan war.
Hashtag opium segues. So, what are you guys listening to?
I don't listen to music anymore.
It doesn't matter. Well, I listen to podcasts.
I listen to the Edge and Christian Pot of Awesomeness is great.
Awesome.
I'm always a quality guest, and they make fun of Tommy Dreamer every week. And it is.
That's why the Edge and Christian show on WWE is so good. Just
the best part is so they would always do the thing where they would imitate Tommy Dreamer and imitate how he talks. He's very monotone. He doesn't really have a lot of emotion. So they would go, Tommy, 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 Tommy. And now because they started doing that when Tommy is now wrestling, because he runs House of Hardcore, when he's now wrestling on the indies, people are screaming it in the middle of his matches.
Tommy, Tommy, Tommy.
And he's like, I hate you guys so much.
Wouldn't it be great if they took on the Ty Dillinger way of things where it's 1, 2, and instead it's Tommy, Tommy, Tommy. Oh, dude.
Although there was a match.
Please, Marks, do this.
I found out there was a match because they did an Australian tour, or the House of Hardcore did an Australian tour where it was the Young Bucks versus the Old Bucks.
Nice.
And the Old Bucks is Tommy Dreamer and badass Billy Gunn.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking
about.
Yeah,
I was like, I really want to see that.
Billy Gunn's still in good shape. Dude,
and then the funny thing is, they had to room together, so of course Billy Gunn's, keeping on a diet and being very.
And Tommy Dreamer's like, you got those tea biscuits from Japan?
So yeah.
Oh man, I think I just drank. I thought this was the Japanese thing.
No,
I
you're
That's
said.
what fucking tastes right.
Jerk. Drinking the rest of my Kickstart.
So
But yeah, that is what I'm listening to. Of course, always listening to the Dollop. I'm almost.
that was actually that's where I was going to go to next.
Yeah.
I'm listening to the Dollop, and we were turned on to the Dollop. Well, I was turned on by my friend Josh.
I've been turned on by your friend Josh.
He
Yeah.
had sent me episode
Hi, Josh.
12. I believe it was episode 12 of the Dollop, which is called Rube.
The Rube.
And if you can listen to that episode and just turn it off and never listen again, then you're a stronger man than I. I immediately went back to episode 1, Cleavon Bundy.
Yep.
Then I went to episode 2, which I believe was the Tickling Pod. No, that's episode 3.
Right, episode 3 is the.
Is it for fun?
Yeah. Episode 2 is Ghosts.
Yes, the
You
Ghost.
are Queen Shit of Liesville.
There are so many amazing episodes of that show. Basically, it's an American history podcast where Dave Anthony, who's a writer on Marin, you've seen him on Marin as Dave. But Marin, he was a writer for that. He is the straight man in this situation. Yeah, you know it, Chris. Do you want some more of it? Actually?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was sitting right there. I looked down like Chris D. Who's Chris D? Yeah. So Dave Anthony's the straight man, and he has his friend Gareth Reynolds, who is the comedian in the situation. And it is one of the funniest things.
It's funny, but there are also episodes that are super serious and horrendously depressing.
Because what you have to remember at one point
is we are the worst people ever.
This isn't. Some things actually there's some episodes that are current. One of them was Ferguson.
Yes.
Ferguson is the episode that tears your soul out.
Yep.
When you just read things that are documented in our immediate history, unabashedly documented.
The Iraq War one was. The one about the what is I forget the name of the basically nuclear waste dump in Washington State that's slowly rotting out from underneath.
Slowly rotting, yeah.
Yeah. There are some that are heart wrenching, but then there are some that are so funny that you're
Rube
feel you're gonna hyperventilate. The Rube is so good.
I've listened to that one probably a good 5 or 6 times. I just every now and then, if I'm having like a really bad day, I gotta hear about Rube.
Yeah,
I have to.
But so I cannot. Both of us cannot recommend that enough. Anything else? Yes.
I mostly listen to like death metal and stuff. Nice. So actually, no. Right now, I was just saying earlier, I've listened to a guy on Spotify named Ginsang, all one word, Jinsang. It's if you can remember the the Archie Bunker show, All the Family. That opening, that with the organ, the way they're playing the piano and the organ, that mixed with hip hop beats, just really low key hip hop beats. So really good to just chill and listen to.
And no lyrics, right? It's just
0 lyrics. Every now and then there might be a sample from the original piece, like they do. Actually, one of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers song, nice. And you find yourself like bobbing your head and you go, "Wait, this is Mr. Rogers. I'm doing this too." So Ginseng definitely worth checking out.
Sweet.
Chris, what are you listening to?
I'm actually listening. I'm actually going back to my roots here. I don't think I've ever talked about this on the show, but I've mentioned it to you guys. I just signed up for the Google Play music service.
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
It's fantastic, and I've been able to find a lot of bands that I listened to growing up on like that you can't really find on Pandora.
Fucking Raffi and
more like one of my all-time favorites, Boston punk band called the Pinkerton Thugs. They have one of their albums on there, which is a great political street punk band. These guys are super talented. They ended up breaking up, but they formed other bands. One of the guys started a band called The Unseen. Another one.
I love The Unseen.
Yeah, well, they're not around anymore either. But he was, I think, Mark Unseen. No, I'm sorry, it's Paul Unseen. Yeah,
it's
Mike,
Vinny. It's Johnny.
Because Mike is the other one. Mike is the drummer. But Paul was the lead singer / guitarist. He was also in the Pinkerton Thugs. So it's cool to kind of listen to that stuff again because I listened to it a lot growing up, and some, you get older, you move, CDs get lost, music gets lost, whatever. So I'm coming back to that again. One of the other bands that I have also found, another Boston-based punk band, the Showcase Showdown. They are hilarious, very biting, witty, social commentary lyrics. Like, they have a song called Duty Free, which is basically about, just being free. Like, one of the lyrics says, I want to be free without a country, a non-person, a non-place. And it's just all about, like, international, he says, like, in the international space is, like, where I'll live and stuff like that. So it's just it's a really, neat song that is kind of jokey, but also has, serious stuff. They have really jokey songs too. Like, they have a song called "Fuck You Norway," and it's just bashing Norway for whatever reason.
But I was gonna say, Norway might be like the nicest people.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why they just.
Like,
they
got
just
something against Sweden too.
Maybe, I don't know. But it's a really funny song. They did a short little, like, split 7-inch for Christmas, and one of them is called Ho Chi Minh, and it's about Ho Chi Minh distributing presents equally and stuff like that. They did another one called "Merry Christmas, I Fucked Your Snowman," like, just stupid crap like that.
It's funny, I've been listening to a band called Steel Panther, and it's like 80s metal and brutal metal, but all just like a 13-year-old boner wrote a bunch of songs, and they called it Steel Panther.
Nice.
It's all just boobs and butts.
And there's a comedian that does a country album called Wheeler Walker Jr., and it's all the same thing. And,
it's just
and
nothing
like,
but boner music.
No, basically, I ain't gay, but the guy sucking my dick in. You should have wanted that name.
Nice. One of the other bands I've made a circle back around to too is one of my favorite emo bands growing up. The 90s, early 2000s gave us a lot of really good emo music. But this band called Pop Unknown, which they have all of their albums on Google Play as well, so that's a really great list too. And of course, baby metal. Being a fan of things Japanese. Love me some of that baby metal, J-pop, heavy metal cross. So.
Have you ever listened to the band Guitar Wolf?
No.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to have a little Guitar Wolf crash course after we're done live here. They actually made a movie, Guitar Wolf, called it's a zombie movie in Japan. Totally crazy movie, but this band shows up. And they are a supernatural band.
Nice. And
the lead singer, in the craziest scene, there's a horde of zombies coming, and he gives like that one moment of like, "Everyone stop!" and everything stops, and he pulls out of his hands like a guitar picks, and just goes, and he kills all of the zombies with guitar picks, and the whole thing is just their main song is called "Exploding Blood." And when they play live, they have a microphone that like shoots fire out of the microphone. I really would like to see these guys live because they're absolutely nuts. But really,
it's kind of like that video game Lollipop Chainsaw, where all the like the boss zombies are based off of like music genres. So you fight a punk like zombie or whatever. There's like a hippie one and stuff like that. It was pretty over the top, but fun.
So I just found the name of the show or the movie. It's called Wild Zero.
Wild Zero.
And they play the name of I can't remember the name of the band in the movie. Again, doesn't matter. But they the name of the real band is Guitar Wolf. But they have
now
in the movie their names are Guitar Wolf, Bass Wolf, and Drum Wolf. Like is it
Wolf like W-U? Oh, okay, that would have been better if they did W-U-L-F.
But they're rockabilly Japanese punkers, and it's so awesome.
It's funny, some of that music out of Japan it's either really weird and like artsy and good, or it's just like, hey, we're gonna play normal, like we're gonna bite off of this style and make it our own or whatever, and it's really good. Like one of my other favorite Japanese bands is a noisecore band called Melt Banana. And they're really good. If you like,
it's like Donkey Kong. Like the translation's always weird.
No, that's just what they call it. That's an English name. Yep. But they're very. If you like the Locust or that kind of like style of music, Melt Banana is very very good. Awesome. But they have these like weird artsy 5-minute songs where it's like just noise. Like avant-garde. Noises and like all. It's good. They're very good. I like Baby Metal as well. I'm trying to think. I think there is another Japanese band that I really like. I just can't.
What do you have on your list then?
No.
Wrestling,
Yeah, we're done.
What's after wrestling?
Unboxing. Oh, yeah.
Did all over unboxing?
Yeah.
I was just seeing if we were off schedule, on schedule.
No,
I'm good talking. We're just having a good conversation here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just looking at pictures of Guitar Wolf right now in Mile Zero, and I'm like, shit, I gotta watch this right now.
Yeah.
Like, it was definitely one of those things. It came out around 2000, 99, 2000, and at the time I was working in a comic book shop down in Florida where we would get the weirdest bootlegs and and it was just VHS, like endless VHS. So we would watch this in the store and Cannibal Holocaust, and just the weirdest stuff.
One of my favorite zombie movies of all time is actually a Chinese zombie flick. It's called Biozombie.
Love Biozombie.
Yeah, dude, Mallrats meets a zombie movie.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I absolutely love that movie. It was so good. Fantastic movie. Yeah, so if you guys haven't watched it, watch Biozombie. It is a really, really good, campy zombie flick.
One of my my first jobs molded when I was getting into the toy industry and stuff, and just doing molding and sculpting and stuff. My first job was for God, I don't think they're in business anymore. I can't even remember the name of the company. It doesn't matter. The movie was called Shadow Dead Riot, and it was a women in prison movie mixed with a zombie movie. And at one point, one of the women in the prison gets impregnated with a zombie and then gives birth to the zombie baby.
Nice.
And the job I had was to do a molding cast of the zombie baby. And then at the DVD release has these little keychains. I did the keychains too.
Nice.
So
yeah, dude, and look at Walking Dead is they did that a few seasons ago with the zombie baby, and look,
that happened.
Yeah, Japan.
Shadow Dead Riot did it. That actually, it's cool. That movie has Tony Todd in it as the main bad guy.
Nice.
So just making that zombie reappearance.
It's funny. We were talking. A couple of my friends and I were talking about some Japanese movies the other day because someone had brought up the Hunger Games. So of course I brought up Battle Royale. Yeah. And we were talking about how in Japan, when they make these kind of gore movies, they use different filters on the camera, and that affects how you react to it's like a visual stimulation. And like sometimes they'll use like a blue filter or I think yellow, and then sometimes I forget what the other filter was, but it makes the blood look more realistic,
More
and
blood.
that more reddish. And I remember I had a friend who we would get together every once in a while and watch movies. And I told her, I was like, I know you're a fan of the Hunger Games. I want you to watch Battle Royale with me, so that I want your opinion on what you think of it. And it was so gory for her, she couldn't.
Yeah, it's a rough one to watch, man. If
she
you're
had to
not
stop.
ready for it, seeing one kid maul another kid down with an Uzi is something.
Yep.
And then to think and I've said this to my wife a million times, Battle Royale was better. Hunger Games is just the cheap ass Battle Royale.
See, I was of the same thought too. Whereas Hunger Games has a little bit more depth to the
depth of the characters.
Yeah, the politics behind it and all this other stuff, whatever, and everything. But Battle Royale, just the stuff that they get. It's like, okay, here's your backpack. Oh, you got a pan. Well, this guy got a gun.
Yeah, sucks to be a man.
Yeah, exactly. Which was awesome. I just thought it's a similar style, but with different stories and different, I guess messages and stuff like that. But I do think Battle Royale is the superior story and movie over the Hunger Games. Yeah,
absolutely. And because it was Hunger Games was just Battle Royale light.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Some of the stuff was pretty brutal. I liked I think the books of Hunger Games were a little more brutal because you can get away with so much more.
Yeah,
in the books,
and especially I think Hollywood knew how popular the Hunger Games was. So again, they were just trying to make it as all access as they could. So they kind of watered it down a little bit. Yeah.
So, I think with that, we have been 5 Alive, and this is our 3rd episode. We had a little bit of a technical snafu in the middle.
Yeah. We got through it.
Can figure that out next time.
That's what matters.
And next week, we'll be doing more unboxings, eating more crazy food, yelling about more crazy stuff. And
sounds good.
Always with the yelling.
Always yelling.
More-
Always directly
more-
into the microphone.
And more interruptions.
Yes.
More interrupting Chris and his damn anime.
Always.
All right. Hey, I got 2 words for you. Sip it.
We gotta get that down.
Yep. That's the
Choreography
problem.
lessons.